This is WCFL News. One man who reportedly has Underworld connections has been cited for contempt in the county grand jury probe of the gang-style slaying of Dominic Galliano earlier this month. Anthony Sirajani was cited after refusing to answer questions, even though he'd been granted immunity from prosecution. Another apparent witness to the killing, Jasper Campisi, also has been granted immunity. He may be cited for contempt if he, too, refuses to answer questions. Boyd Harvey, WCFL News, for Peter Epstein, Pontiac. Weather, in a word, fair, 36 degrees at Marina City. A federal grand jury has opened a probe of boxing and its possible connections with the underworld. The opening of the probe was clouded in secrecy, as the grand jury and prospective witnesses were whisked not to the federal courthouse, but to the U.S. Customs House. Several prominent people in the fight game have appeared today. All have refused to comment to reporters. The star of the hearing, Chicago and Bernie Glickman, one-time manager of WBA heavyweight champion Ernie Terrell, apparently will not appear before the grand jury until tomorrow. General Maxwell Taylor, the former ambassador to South Vietnam and one-time chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, said that this country has no alternative but to press its present course of action in South Vietnam. Concerning the hearings of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee on our policy in Vietnam, General Taylor said,
"It is time, I think, after the great debate where we've aired the pros and cons of our situation, to roll up our national sleeves and decide that we will end as quickly as possible the unfinished business in South Vietnam. And I think we should take guidance from the words of our president. He has given us our requirement, and I hope that it has been broadcast to every citizen of our country, when he said, 'We will not be defeated. We will not grow tired. We will not withdraw, either openly or under the cover of a meaningless agreement.'"
And Taylor warned that even if the communists come to the conference table, that will not mean the end of the conflict. In South Vietnam, 1st Air Cavalry Division troops are fighting for their lives. They're surrounded by a Viet Cong force that now outnumbers them 5-1. In Washington, Defense Secretary McNamara has told Congress the administration's request for more than $900 million in military aid is a tremendous bargain. Much of the money would be earmarked for countries in Southeast Asia. And on Capitol Hill, Harlem Congressman Adam Clayton Powell has called on the government to increase the amount of money in the war on poverty. Powell says $7 billion, about 4 times the administration request, should be spent in this program. Top Republicans want an extension for Medicare registration.
The Republican leaders of Congress, Everett Dirksen of the Senate and Gerald Ford of the House, announced in a joint statement today the introduction of Medicare legislation to extend through the 31st of August the initial enrollment period for coverage for supplementary benefits for the elderly. At present, the law requires such enrollment by tomorrow. The leaders said some 5 million older persons cannot register that quickly, so they proposed the legislation to give them a break. Richard Randell, Mutual News, the Capitol.
And in Chicago, federal funds are being eyed for another program.
The Cook County Board has decided to refer to the Finance Committee for further study a proposal to act as a sponsor in a federal grant application for construction of a $1.5 million social services center in the Southside Woodlawn area. 2/3 of construction cost would be federal money. The other 1/3 would come from the University of Chicago, which asked the board to sponsor the grant. Programs planned for the center include a comprehensive child health program and a daycare and child development center aimed primarily at families receiving public aid. Tom Sheridan, WCFL News, County Building.
In sports, the White Sox defeated the Orioles 4-2 in exhibition baseball. Phils 4, A's 1, Dodgers 4, Reds nothing. Cards beat Boston 5-3 in 10. WCFL weather, fair skies becoming partly cloudy tomorrow afternoon with light rain probable. Low tonight near 30. Tomorrow's high in the 50s. Currently at O'Hare 40, Midway 39, Marina City 36. And that's what's happening. Brought to you by Peter Epstein Pontiac, the world's largest Pontiac dealer. Boyd Harvey, WCFL News, standing by for the Jim Stagg program.
Good afternoon, everybody. Jim Stagg at WCFL, and we go until 6 o'clock. 4:30 this afternoon, we climb on that stairway.